my childhood and young adulthood, like I've squashed grief so many times that now that as an adult it's coming forward, it's an effort to allow it to continue. So
Sure.
what if I
Yeah.
can't tap into this ever because I don't know how? What if I do tap into it and I just can't
Mm.
get out of it?
Oh,
These are
that's
what's coming
oh my
forward.
gosh. I'm so glad you asked those questions. Well, I think that any human, barring anyone experiencing maybe a traumatic brain injury, with the proper supports, both internal and external, can access grief. And I think the question about, well, what are internal and external supports? That's a big topic we can talk about. But the other piece I would say too, that question you asked, well, what if I start feeling this and I never stop? This is what people who come to me for relational trauma recovery work say all the time. I say that not to diminish anyone's experience, but rather to normalize it. There can be terror thinking like, if I even turn this on a little, like if I turn the faucet on a little, it will be a flood that swallows me whole. It'll be a tsunami. Right. And certainly that is what it can feel like when we start to feel all of our feelings, whether it's grief or rage or any emotion in between. It is normal and natural to think that our emotions will flood us. There's a difference between having a fearful thought and experiencing that as a reality. So that's one thing I would say, right? For most people, emotions truly won't swamp and flood. They do pass as they move through us. But again, we're back to that conversation point about titrating our experience. The result,
Yeah.
I always like to think of it as a little kid trying to get into a pool and maybe they're a little scared. So they put an ankle in and then they step out. Then they go down to their shin and they step out. Like they're giving themselves a supportive experience with, this big feeling inside of them. It is okay for us to do that too. So
Mm.
just, to hold hand in hand what I just said, it's like we can metabolize something when we, fully feel it and allow it. It is also okay to titrate our experience, right? Like maybe if the environment isn't safe or appropriate to feel the feelings fully, right? Or if it starts to feel too overwhelming, nothing wrong with picking up your phone and turning on Netflix for a few minutes, right? Or like getting back to the work emails. It's okay to do that too, right?
I
As long
love that.
as that's not the default, right? As long as that's not the default.
Intentional is what I'm hearing in that. I love